Alright, what's going on, guys? This is part 5, 6, whatever, of the 6075 swap to my 3000 GT. I apologize for not getting videos out quicker. Life is just life, and I've been working 12-hour days, 6 days a week. So, with the motor mount pulled off, you can see it right here, I shaved out a lot, mainly for timing belt clearance, because I'm super paranoid. This here is actually for the, that notch out there is for the tensioner bracket. So it mounts in just like that. Got 2 cross bolts, 3 fronting mount bolts. Now, for a comparison, the reason I went with the dual overhead cam setup versus the single overhead cam setup, because you can see here the timing belt, or the tension, or the alternator and AC belts right here. Excuse me. The tensioner mounts down here, down low. Needed about a 1/4 inch worth of washers right there to be able to space out properly. And the reason I went with this is because with the single overhead cam setup, you can see right here. So this is the single overhead cam AC bracket. It'll bolt to the block. It'll mount the AC compressor just like this one will. However, if you look at the 72 mount for the single overhead cam, you're like, oh, well, that mounts different. Well, of course it does. Well, that mounts here, and it puts the tensioner up here, and it just wasn't going to work with the belt setup and the routing that I have. So, could you? Probably. Did I? No. Also, just so you can see the difference between the brackets and how much I took off. Now the brackets will mount the same, okay? So you can see there is a little difference between the two of them as far as what goes where. That was another deciding factor on like shaving things down and stuff like that. So with that right there, this mounting leg will interfere with the water pump. So I cut down approximately 0.91 inches off of here to be able to mount this bracket in place. Plus, like I said, I went a little nuts with the extra clearancing. I just really don't want to eat a timing belt. I know they'll flex a little bit because, nothing is ever super solid. They shouldn't move up and down. But if they were to, I'd rather have a little extra clearance rather than no clearance. And with that being said, over here on the block side, this is just off the 72 single overhead cam, but again, it all mounts the same. So with the 75, there's this boss right here, like that. Well, Mr. Cutoff Wheel was just like, see you later, alligator. So this one became flush, and then we needed about a 1/16 washer, which is my normal like go-to spacer washers. And then on this, we simply made 2 cuts. One straight down here, and another one crisscross applesauce like that. And when we did that, whammy, look at that. So the rear mount mounts in perfectly. So as of right now, 1, 2, 3 big giant bolts holding it in. As you can see, there was a boss at some point, but again, through the various castings, shaving crap down, yada yada, Mitsubishi decided that it no longer needed that. So with that being said, next step on the plan is to get the trans off the motor in the car. Everything is fully disconnected. All I gotta do is Loosen up the last 3 motor mounts, front, rear, transmission, and then snatch it out. Once I do that tomorrow, I'm going to mount the transmission to the block. I'm going to see and pray to the gods above that somewhere in here we can mount the mid shaft. It should mount here-ish, somewhere in here if I remember right. So, and that's the bracket that holds the mid shaft about right here, which is why that thing's got to go. This whole thing needs to get shaved. I would like to be able to just tap this with a pipe plug for right now. As long as everything clearance is down here, I can just tap that with a pipe plug, not have to worry about that. That's one less thing I have to weld. But yeah, so far that's where everything sits, man, and you know, everything's really good. You know, lots of crap still to do. Like once I get it in, I drop the intake on it. I'm going to run the 74 intake for right now. Mounting pattern is exactly the same down here. Like I already showed in the other video, the actual intake mounting pattern is, or for the upper plenum, is completely freaking different in order to run the 75. But the 74 is also shorter slightly. Obviously the plenum volume is massive compared to that thing, and it's also going to put us on a driver's side intake, which it's gonna be fun. But yeah, so that's where we're at. We'll get all this put back together, and then tomorrow I will have a video up with the trans bolted to this, hopefully with the mid shaft here, just a pipe plug down there for right now, and hopefully all the clearance is good. Like I said, I'm going with this here, so there's that. And before I forget, I did take some pictures. I'm going to post them up on the 3SI link about the Montero oil pump gasket, or the Montero oil pump. It's just absolutely goobery massive, and the fact that it's meant to be over here, so when you bolt it here, all the shit's going to literally hit the crank pulley. So yeah, for me, this is going to be the smartest, easiest option. That way I can come, literally it's going to be 2 AN fittings coming straight out. I might do short sections of hardline. I'm not sure yet. I think I'll be okay with, you know, my 2 straight fittings coming out, and then coming out, making sure I have enough room on the frame rail to curve them, mount them to the frame rail, using 8L clamps, and then going down and forward to an oil cooler in the front left of the car, and its little front intake in the bumper. That way I'm not restricting the airflow across the front of it. I know some people actually mount them just down on the side, or I don't know why you would put them back here behind everything. That's silly, because that's where all the heat's going to get trapped. I know some people mount them forward, just kind of here behind the radiator, so as the cooling fans blow, they're actually blowing air across the oil cooler, which is smart. I don't know, really haven't crossed it. I really like to tuck it in the front left though. That way it's got fresh air hitting it. Put a nice metal mesh screen, like door screening. That way it can keep all the rocks and shit out of it from destroying the oil cooler. Yeah, just simple little quick update video. Little Dremel going to war, getting all that crap sanded up. Broke my stupid flex shaft, not happy about that, but you know, it is what it is. Gonna get it all finished up, buttoned up, and yeah. Well, if you guys got any questions, again, drop them down in the comments section. If these videos are slightly entertaining, you know, like and subscribe, you know, I'll keep them going. I did get this all cut up. Did I bring it out here? No, I did not. Anyway, I got these cut up. So, alright, so yeah. So I've got my rings cut. I boogered this first one up kind of good because I was trying to eyeball it and do all this and try to be fancy, but we got one good cup right here, right on. And I've got two different rings. So my first theory was, well, if I cut it, then I can kind of just tack weld it in four corners, you know, and be good there. Which for this, you'd have to pretty much push that in, you know, like that, almost press fit it. But I'm like, man, that's gonna be, you know, super low. And it is. It's very low, actually, in order to be able to have the cam sensor. Da-da-da. Cam, crank, potato. So yeah, again, that's gonna have to be sitting in the blade, you know, like that, you know, doing its pickup thing, which is why, again, it's gonna need some bracketry to come from right here. So I've got one good hole there, one good hole there. I'm gonna run a standoff here, tie them in here to one flat piece that's 90'd out to here, and then I'm probably gonna pick something up over here. Yeah, it's gonna be an absolutely ginormous thing, but for something like this, you gotta make sure it's rock solid, not gonna move, not gonna vibrate. You don't want it bouncing into your timing belt here, and you also don't want, you know, your blade to ejectocito cuz and come flying off and cause all kinds of chaos. So we've got the really nice one cut here, super flat. We're gonna make sure it's ultra, well, I mean, you really don't have to make sure that's ultra flat. We just have to make sure the ring's ultra flat. And as you can see, the ring clearly passes around. And so again, what we have to do, boo-boo, so this is how it mounts on the back side. I made a little mark for where the cam magnet picked up on this particular one. So again, we're mounting it on the front like this. Tabs don't matter, they really don't, but it's a good point of reference. And then we can see here, that is that. And this, it's kind of hard to tell right here, but the edge of this comes to the edge of that. So we just have to pretty much edge of this to edge of that, bing bong, there you go, bolt it down, go vroom vroom. And then just make sure this picks up there. Again, I've got tons of pictures that I can post to show exactly where this cam gear positions, how it positions, where it bolts to the head on the 74. Because obviously you've got this big Myvec oil control solenoid here, you know, to be able to do Myvec things. But yeah, and then I'm going to double check cam gear placement. That way we can set time. Because I don't believe this is an interference motor. I don't remember. So, yeah, there's that. So again, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, you know, whatever, that's just, again, so these are just mag pickups, right? So every time it passes through, it sends a pulse, yada yada. So cam, crank, they're all the same sensor. So that one's cut, I don't care. You know, got dozens more. You know, especially when I go shop at Go Pull It, I pull, you know, 5, 6, 7 sensors, because I think the limit's 10 on their all-you-can-carry sales. So I'll go in and I'll just absolutely raid sensors from Mitsubishi products, and it doesn't matter what, almost all the single Mitsubishi products run the same exact dang thing, so you're good to go, man. Just go in, grab sensors, get nuts, bing bong. That one's still got a good plug on it, but you can see that's a different plug than the other ones, because the other ones are a triangle plug. That's not a big deal to depin and repin, which I'll probably end up doing. So I have nice new sensors all over this thing. Again, the battle blade's down there, good to go. Got to make sure I have my correct timing mark. So with the timing, I mean, obviously we got one mark here and one mark here, but that says forward, that says rear. So that just depends on if this cylinder head is forward or if it's the rear one. And you're like, well, how can you tell? Well, it's pretty simple actually. So when this is installed in an Eclipse, it's installed, this is passenger side, that's driver side, this is the front of the motor because it's got the pretty valve cover, and then this would be the rear of the motor. So with that being said, that mark needs to be on the rear. So the timing still has to be the same as it would be if it was in the Eclipse. That way all your marks are lined up, motor's going to rotate same exact direction it would if it was about a 180. Sorry, always working late. But yeah, and then that little bracket down there is also from the 72 dual overhead cam motor to mount this there, because this bracket is actually part of this giant ass bracket set up here to run, sorry, backwards, there we go. Because you can see here on this one that this particular bracket, what the heck, sorry, feel stupid now. Alright, yeah, sorry, felt dumb. So yeah, that slips in there, it mounts like that. Now, could you cut this off right here just to use this spacer? Yeah. Could you just cut this spacer out right here? Yeah. But the thing about it is, that spacer ties in to the dual overhead cam power steering pump. Kind of hard to see, sorry. Yeah, so it ties in there for this, and then you got this aluminum block studded out, good to go. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Like, easy day. Alright, and there you have it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Brackets back in place, sitting really nicely in front of this cam. If you look and you see it, it sits kind of right there, and you got, like I said, you got your idler pulley, everything's tension. This is literally ready to drop in, wire up, and let it rip. So yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Hopefully we can get it in and get the wiring worked out, and hopefully have it done this weekend. I always say this weekend, it's never going to be this weekend, but shoot for the stars, you hit the moon. But you guys enjoy it, got questions, I've got answers hopefully, and yeah, just have a good one. Peace.